They do normally smoke in the US too. Like I did have a few friends that smoke, but smoking and drinking in this country, if they were sharing a word, but most of the buildings are very old. They look old. The streets look old. The weather is so dull. Everything just looks so dull for me, because hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayadele Fash. If it's your first time on this channel, thank you for stopping by. Please don't make it your last. Remember to leave a comment. Remember to like this video. If this is your first time, I want to know in the comment section. Leave a comment to say this is my first time so I can welcome you to the family. Yes, remember to like this video. Remember to subscribe if you have not. To all my OGs, thank you guys so much for always coming back. Thank you for the love and the support that you keep showing to me on this channel. I am super grateful to you guys. Okay, so today one of the biggest questions that I'm always asked is, how do you compare the US to the UK? What are some of the culture shocks that you've experienced? Do you prefer the US to the UK? Do you regret leaving the US? If you were to choose now, which would you choose? And all of those questions. So I will attempt to answer those questions today. But before I go into that, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about LemFi. Yes, LemFi is the most reliable payment platform that myself and my family members and my friends in the United States have been using to send monies to all our family members in Africa. Yes, so LemFi is available to residents in Canada, in the UK, and of course in the United States. Yes, so in case you're looking for a reliable payment platform that you can use to send monies to your family members in Nigeria, Kenya, Ivory Coast, Senegal, in Cameroon, in Benin, in Tanzania, in Uganda, and in Rwanda. In case you're looking for a platform to send monies to your family members in any of those countries, or you are living in any of those countries and your family members in the UK, in Canada, in the United States have been giving you excuses as to why they cannot send you money, make sure that you introduce them to LemFi. LemFi offers the most competitive exchange rate in the market. Yes, and then what's so amazing about the platform is that you get zero transaction fee for all your transaction on LemFi. You don't get charged a dime. So sending money on LemFi is fast, it's reliable, and it is completely free. So in case you'd like to download LemFi, I have a referral link in the description box below. It will also be in the comment section. Please make sure that you use that link to download LemFi today, okay? And when you download LemFi with the link below, you get 10% cash back for your very first transaction on the app of $150 and above. Okay, yes, 10% cash back for your very first transaction of $150 and above, capped at $50. So what are you waiting for? Download the LemFi app today using the link, and in case you already have the app, make sure that you use the code FASHFAM, as you can see below, FASHFAM, for your very first transaction on the app in order for you to get the 10% cash back. Okay, so guys, remember to download LemFi today. Okay, anyway, so now let us get into today's video. Anyone that finds out that I was in the US previously, one of the questions they usually ask me is, okay, what are some of the things, what's the difference between living in the US? I think I get that question like every week. Every week that someone gets to find out that I was in the US, and I will try again to attempt to answer those questions in this video, right? So before I get into this video, I just want you to understand that this is my opinion. This is based on my experience and the experience of those people around me, but mainly based on my own experience. It might not be your experience, and that's okay. You don't need to come and insult me in the comment section. You don't need to come and be rude in the comment section. Okay, just know that this is my opinion. All right, so let us get into it. So I've been in the UK now for 6 months, I think. Yeah, I think one of the first thing I noticed is how friendly everybody is. And I'm talking about even the white people and the black people. There is just a culture of acceptance and friendliness in the atmosphere, okay? And this is different from what I experienced in the US, right? Now, you guys know I've been to the US 2 times, and I've had this experience consistently both times. So I'm going to talk about the very first day that I stepped into the US. I remember that we went to the store to get something, and from the very first person I met in the United States, you can tell that they don't have time for bullshit, okay? If you bring it, they're gonna give it to you, okay? They are not friendly for no reason. And that's the thing, if you're smiling to a person in the US, like at least based on my experience, when you see a random person on the streets and you're smiling to them, they look at you weird, like, why are you smiling why are you smiling at me? Do I know you? You understand? They can even suspect you that, why are you smiling at me? You get that? So anyways, that's one of the things I experienced in the US, that people are not generally kind for no reason. There has to be a reason. They are not friendly for no reason. But coming over here, it was a bit different. Right from the airport, you always see people are always smiling. If you smile at them, they'll smile at you. They will say hello to you. They're like, there's just this atmosphere of nice and politeness in the environment. However, because they are smiling and being polite and being, you know, whatever, don't be fooled though. Don't be fooled. It's like even when they don't like you, they sugarcoat it. You won't even know when someone does not like you. I remember my husband was doing some job interviews when he just came. And even me, when I did certain job interviews, you will be in the interview, everything is going well, the person is smiling, it's like you have gotten the job, everything is good. And the next minute you are receiving, we regret to inform you, excuse me, ma, but we're just reporting in the interview. How come all of a sudden? Yeah, that's the way they are. It's very hard to tell what is in their hearts, because everybody kind of has this, you know, this mask of be friendly, be polite, be kind. Yes, daddy.
I think the word you're looking for is that it's a thing for them to be polite. That even when they want to tell you off,
yeah, they are telling you politely. Yeah, that's
when
true.
Everything is about politeness.
Yeah,
with them, which sometimes people count for pretense. That they are pretending. I think I've come to realize that it's just
not pretend. It's just a culture
to be polite. To be like, oh please, hello, oh could you please.
Yeah. Okay, I think that covers it the most. That covers it better. So, in case you didn't hear my husband,
Jesus Christ, I'm supposed to come out inside.
It's not you that put your voice inside. So, yeah, I think he explained it better, right? That there's a culture of politeness here, or like in the US, that if you are doing nonsense, they will tell you. They don't try to even make you feel okay about it. They will let you feel horrible and terrible that you've made the mistake. But over here, they will make you feel very, you know, they will tell you off, but in a very polite way. You get that. So that's why I said that don't be fooled by it, that because they are being kind and polite, the next thing you will get is a letter, like, you know, get your act right. You understand that? So yeah, like my husband said, people always say that it is fake politeness. I think I even read that somewhere, that British people are fake, they have this fake politeness. But like my husband rightly put, it's not a fake politeness, it's just a culture thing, that even when they're upset, they have to, like, you know, be polite about it. You know, they will tell you off politely, right? So yeah, I think that kind of captures it. So I think that was like confusing for me coming from the US. You know, I think the US and Nigeria, they are almost the same. Nigeria, we have eye service, but you almost know when someone is being, you know, when they're doing eye service. But I think I had that culture shock in the US, where people are not even trying to be eye service. You understand? They give it to you as it is. They don't try to. They are straight with you, almost too straight with you. But then coming here and seeing people, you know, being polite, it was, you know, yeah, I think that was like one of the first things that I observed, you know, staying. Even when you go to the store, even when you can tell that the person that is attending to you does not like you, they will still kind of be polite. Please, are you, you know, please, can I help you? Can I do this? Yeah, you always hear that. Anyway, so let's move on from that point. The next point I have here is that racism is subtle in the US, in the UK, than it is in the US. And this is from my own experience, right? Now, I was telling you about the story of the first day I went into the US. I'll tell you that I was saying that I remember we went into a store in Walmart. No, not Walmart. It was an Asian store, and we had bought everything, and we went to the counter. And the very first thing this lady told me was, sorry, we don't accept EBT card here. So EBT card are like card that government gives to support people who are in need. So the lady automatically saw me and assumed, because of probably my color, that I would be coming with a card. And you know, this was an American store. So we left that store and we went to an Asian store, and you will not believe that the same thing happened. And I had to ask my fellow people around me, like, what is in me that looks like? Because I know why. Because I was in a queue and the white people were in front of me. She never had the need to tell them that we don't accept. But all of a sudden, because I was the first black person, you know, there. And again, it depends on where you stay in the United States. I realized that, you know, in Virginia, racism is kind of higher that you would experience in other places. I lived in New York the last time I was there. I experienced racism when it comes to getting housing and stuff, but it was nothing as heavy as I experienced in Virginia. So sometimes you want to also be careful. And it's not even everywhere in Virginia. There are some places like West Virginia, where I was, is predominantly white, so they are not very friendly towards some places, and some people in there are not very friendly towards black. But generally in the US, compared to here, the racism is really high in the US based on my own experience than here. Now, the reason I'm saying that, like I said, the racism here is subtle. Subtle does not mean that it does not exist. It does exist, and I'm telling you, I've seen YouTubers who come out to talk about, you know, some of the racism they've experienced in their place of work, and most times you experience it in your place of work, not in the store and all of that. I've seen, you know, some people come on internet to talk about how even the bus drivers, you know, can be racist towards them. Once you are black, you know, sometimes they won't pick you up and stuff. I've never experienced that here. Maybe because I think I've entered the bus once since I moved here. I don't think we've babe, have you ever entered bus around here? The bus, have you ever taken the bus around here?
No, never.
No. So bus is not a thing that so maybe that's why I've not experienced that. And I think once or twice that I took the bus, I never experienced anything like that, and most people have not. Those are just the exception to the case. But like I said, because it's a subtle doesn't mean it's not there. Most times they have been racist towards you, but they make it in such a way that you cannot hold it against them. In the US, when they want to be racist towards you, they will tell you. It's either they refuse. I've been to a barbering salon the first time I was in the US, and they refused to cut my hair. And they didn't even tell me anything. I was there sitting down, and people were coming and they did not even ask me, what are you doing here? What do you want to do? Oh? They didn't do that because it was, you know, they were whites there, and then we had to leave to the next one, which was the black. I think we were in the wrong barbering salon. Then the person will call like, what's going on? I say, you're in the wrong place. They will even talk to you there, right? I've been to a store that nobody will even talk to me. They will just act like they'll pretend like you're not there. It has happened to me in the United States, right? So like I said, it doesn't happen everywhere. It's people will be people. But I think over here, they will attend to you, they will smile fake to you. They might be having it in their mind though, but they will not, it's not obvious in your face. And I think maybe it's just because, you know, there's just this culture of be kind, be polite, and this kind of identity that they have, that they try not to portray that, even if that's what they are feeling inside of them. But anyways, I haven't experienced any form of racism since, subtle form, maybe once or twice, but really nothing as compared as what I faced when I was in the US. But again, like I said, it depends on where you stay in the US. It depends on the people. People will be people every time. So, but based on my experience, racism here is subtle than in the US, right? The other thing that I would say is that the weather. Oh my God. God, though. It's when I was in the US, right? I thought, coming from Nigeria, I would experience a lot of culture shock with the weather, but really I did not. I did not, because when it's summer, it's summer. When it's winter, it's winter. When it's spring, it's spring. You know what is coming. And it's like, you know, Nigeria can be on rainy season and dry season, but it's hot most of the time, right? And then in the US, when it's summer, it's really, really hot, okay? It's really hot. You know that you're in summer. When you're in spring, you know. When you're in fall, you know. In the UK, I didn't understand. I came in during summer and it was so cold. I was wearing my winter jacket. Then winter came, I was still wearing winter jacket. Now we are in spring, I'm still wearing winter jackets. Like, when is the sun going? And then you'll be seeing sun, oh. Don't be deceived, because that sun is a camouflage. When you go outside, it's too cold. So the weather is always cold and it's always raining. Like, I cannot understand why it's always raining. Like, every week, it must rain every week. Don't you have rainy season and dry season? I think the weather was like the first turn off for me. And then I think one of the first things I also noticed in the UK was also the buildings. Like, what's going on? All the buildings are so old. The houses, majority of them, almost all the houses, only the new ones they are trying to develop new houses now. But most of the buildings are very old. They look old. The streets look old. The weather is so dull. Everything just looks so dull for me, because, you know, I came in during the summer, and during the summer in the US, you know, everywhere is bright. Everywhere is, you know, there are trees, there are flowers, there are, like, and in Virginia, like, you have trees everywhere, you have flowers everywhere, is green, everywhere is lush. When I left there, I came here, I'm like, why is everywhere so dull? Everywhere is so boring. Like, everywhere just looks so dull. And you see, when you're in a dull atmosphere, it has a way of affecting you internally. But at least that's what I think. So yeah, the weather was definitely a big shock for me when I came in here. Yeah, another thing was how tiny the houses are. Hey God, why are the houses so tiny? Everything is so small. Like, even the Jesus, the houses, let's start from the houses. The houses are so small. I remember the very first house I went into, I'm like, wait, the entrance so tiny. No, the houses here are too small compared to the US. The US, I mean, you don't have massive parlor, massive bedrooms like we usually build our houses in Nigeria. I mean, I'm not talking about the island, but in Lagos Island, I mean, like, in most houses in Nigeria, it's like, this, my living room is my kitchen, you understand? Like, it's normal. But here, everything is so small. The houses are so small. everything is just so tiny. The kitchen, the bedroom, you go to some house. I went to some houses. I told you guys, now, if you watch the video I talked about the journey that brought us, that led us here, some of the houses I went into and how tiny all of them are. I think that was like the very, I heard about it, but experiencing it was a totally different thing, right? US, most houses are standard, right? You guys saw my house in the US, right? You have multiple rooms. The rooms are big enough. The living room is big. The kitchen is big and everything. So it's not Nigeria standard big, for big in Nigeria, but at least it's moderate. But here it's so small, and majority of the houses are like that. Yeah, so yeah, I think that was one of the culture shock for me. And then the road, I think that was one of the first thing I noticed when I was coming from the airport, was how small the roads are. Why is major highway only 2 lane or 3 lane? Why? And the lane, they are so tiny. I'm so afraid. When I enter those double-decker bus, I'm always so afraid that the bus will hit a car by the side, because the roads are so narrow. Like, why are the roads so narrow? Yeah, so the narrow roads, the small cars, people are always using small cars here. In the US, I've entered a Tesla, Uber. I've entered Tesla, Uber. I've entered BMW, Uber. You see all these big cars that they used to do Uber over here. I don't know, maybe in London. I heard in London it might be a bit different, but in most cities I've been to around here, and I've been to about 5 to 6 cities, it's always like that. People often buy small cars. Yeah, like all those what do we call it, Picanto, all those small cars that we use in Nigeria that even people in Nigeria don't even use. Yeah, you find that people, because car is not a luxury here. In the United States, cars are luxury. You will see people that can buy a land, buy an estate. Yes,
it's the tax.
I know it's the taxes and the insurance. It's really high over here. So owning a car, if you own bigger cars, you pay a lot of tax on the cars. Taxes is crazy here, like crazy. Okay, we'll get into taxes later, but yeah, you realize that people use a lot of small cars here. Then let's go talk about the taxes, right? The reason why houses are small, cars are small, everything is small, is because the bills and taxes in this country is crazy. Okay, it's crazy. We are so fortunate to be in a house where we don't have to pay bills, because it's already infused into our rent. But in most houses it's not like that. You have to pay your bills separately, and it's crazy because you can get a bill that is almost equal to your rent in a month. Yes, and then if you own a car, imagine you buy a car for £2,000 and then you're paying insurance £500 every month, £300 every month. No, the things I've heard about owning a car in this country, it's really worrying, right? So I guess that's why everything is so minimal. So people stay in small houses because it's easy to heat up the house, especially in a country where you have more cold season than you have warmer season, so that your heat can go over. Like when we turn on the heat in the house, it gets hot very quickly because it's quite, the house is quite compact. You get that? So yeah, so I guess that's why. And then the insurance, the taxes on cars, and the higher the make or brand of car you have, the higher you're paying in taxes, the higher you're paying in insurance. So people tend to buy only small things because they don't want to, and live in small houses because they don't want to pay big. But again, I was want to say that somehow it conditions your mind to only think small because you're thinking, I remember, there's certain salary range that you will get in the UK that you won't get to pay taxes, and I remember most people want to live below that salary, below that salary, so that they don't have to pay taxes. And then the higher you earn, the more you pay. So if you earn certain amounts, if you're below certain tax code, they call it, you only pay this percentage of your salary. So people don't want to even earn, because you find out that people who are earning like 30k and somebody earning 40k, they are paying the same, they are at the end of the day after tax, they are almost earning the same thing. So people kind of want to now stay below a tax code and don't want to aim higher because they don't want to pay that high, that high amount of taxes. So it's just a really crazy thing that kind of conditions your mind to not want big things. Like, at least that's how I see it, right? So anyways, yeah, that's something else that I don't really fancy a lot about the UK. The taxes is crazy. Another thing is the houses don't have air conditioning, and I think rightly so, because you get more cold weather than you have hot weather. I think it's only in a few times they have heat waves and stuff. Most times, even during summer, your house is cold enough, it's it's warm enough and whatever, cool enough for you, so you don't really need them. I think new builds now are trying to get in air conditioners and stuff, but at the end of the day, to be useless, because again, bills, you're paying a lot of bills. Yeah, so it's not really needed. And again, most of the times that we need air conditioner in Nigeria because it's very hot, and also because of mosquitoes. You don't get I don't know if there's mosquitoes here. I know they don't have in the US. I don't know if they have I don't think they have in the UK. I don't think it's thing in the UK, but in the US, you don't have mosquitoes. At least, even you don't have the ones that give malaria, at least. Even in places that you find them, like if you're staying in rural areas and stuff. But even with that, you have all those tiny, tiny flies and weird insects that you've never seen before. But most times you don't get mosquitoes and stuff. So I don't know, Sha. Heating, cooling system, AC is not really a thing here in the UK. Another thing for me is the left driving. I haven't driven here in the UK, but I've driven in the US, and you know, we drive on the left, but here they drive on the right, right?
I don't know, that is
yes, they drive on the right. Yeah, they drive on the right here while we drive on the left, right? So it's that right hand driving thing. I think I'm still going to have to get used to it, because sometimes even when I want to enter a car, I want to sit at the front, I end up going to the driver's side, forgetting that it's on the other side, just because I'm so used to right hand driving, left hand driving, right? So yeah. And then oh, you will hear a lot of they use a lot of pet names. I think that was one of the weirdest thing in my job. Like, someone would just come and go, "Oh, lovely, are you doing, lovely? How you doing, dear? Oh, sweetheart. Oh, why?" Especially lovely. "Oh, you're doing good, lovely. Oh, that's okay, lovely. Oh, excuse me, ma." Yes, you get a lot of pet names. They use a lot of pet names, and it's, you know, it's a shock for me, because, you know, especially if you grow up in Africa where you don't use a lot of pet names, and in the US, don't ever call anybody pet name, because you can end up in jail. You don't call people, you know, especially minors, and you know, frankly, people that don't know you don't call them baby, you don't call them lovely, you don't call them sweetheart, you don't call them dear, you don't call them any kind of names. But over here, apparently it's a thing, right? So you can see someone that doesn't know you from anywhere, say, "Hello, sweetie, hello, dear, hello, sweetheart, hello, lovely, hello." Well, yeah. And then you hear a lot of, "Are you okay? Are you alright? Are you," I'm trying to use the accent, "Are you alright? Are you okay? Are you," you know, they're always, again, going back to the polite thing. Again, that's not something you ever get in the US. In short, if you ask somebody if they are okay, they'll be looking at you like, "Have I given you a reason to think I am not?" You'll get that. So yeah, it's just different, right? And then smoking, they do normally smoke in the US too. Like, I did have a few friends that smoke, but smoking and drinking in this country, if they were sharing award, I heard that in more European countries that they smoke and drink a lot. I've never in my life seen a country that they smoke so much and drink so much like this country. Okay, so I think that was like a shock to me. Like, everywhere people are always smoking, like, yeah. But anyways, that's their lifestyle. No judgment here, that's their lifestyle. Okay. And I think one thing that breaks my heart here is you find a lot of old people that live alone in this country. In Nigeria, it's almost, you know, our parents are in the village, but they have a community. They have, you know, they don't live alone. You find somebody with them and stuff. But I was telling somebody that even though that's the case here, in a few years in Nigeria, that will be a lot of the reality for a lot of parents, because many of us are jackpotting. A lot of children are spread across the world. What happens to our aged parents in Nigeria? You know, sometimes when I think of my mom alone, I mean, she's healthy, she's strong, she's not old, but a time will come when she will need help. You know, it's a humbling thing to feel like nobody's in the country, right? You see, so yeah, I feel like Africa is going there. But here, even though they are all in the same country, you see a lot of old people who are disabled, who are unable to do a lot of things, and they still live alone. But it's just a good thing that the governments, you know, their facilities and things that are available to them in their council and all of that to help and assist them. But yeah, anyways, tea. You would drink tea. Everywhere you go, they're always offering you tea. I used to like tea in Nigeria. My husband is the tea person. My husband takes tea a lot. So he's with his people, he's with his clan people here. But when I came here, I started taking tea. Chai tea, chamomile tea, black tea, green tea, all the tea I'm taking now. Okay, now I take tea a lot, because when you're here, you tend to, because everywhere you go, they offer you tea. In my office, in my workplace, there's free tea, free hot chocolate, free coffee, and all of that. I think in the US, it's coffee that is theirs. They take coffee a lot. In the US, somebody made a joke that if you are to take the blood of a US citizen, it will be 60% coffee, 40% blood, because they take coffee a lot. But I think here it's tea. They take a lot of tea. And I think the other things that surprised me a bit is in school, like the way they lecture. When I was in the US, I had my master's in the US. the way we lecture is they give you, in especially for a master's degree, you are given a range of paper to read. You come to class, everybody, we all discuss, and the professor kind of, you know, addresses certain things, like it leads the conversation. That's how classes are done. You read, it's self-taught, self-learned. You self-learn. Here it's like we're in undergrad. That's how I see it though, because they are teaching you everything, and most of those things are things you've learned from undergrad sometimes. But the only good thing though is that you get lectures and seminars. Seminars, they are still teaching you. Lecture, they are still teaching you. But like when I say teaching, like the lecturer is explaining, reading, you know, explaining, have notes, have PowerPoints and stuff, like the way they do in undergrad. In my master's in the US was different. Maybe it's that school that was different, because we know it's just once in a while. Maybe the lecturer would teach you, like take you through a few things, a few slides, maybe for 15 minutes, but the remaining 2 hours, 15 minutes is for you guys to have conversations around, you know, with yourself. So I think that's the difference for me, and I think marking here is quite tougher. Like they have, God, I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, it's quite tougher here. But yeah, when it comes to like studying UK versus US, I would choose the UK, because I think it helps you to read a lot, it helps you to learn a lot, you know, than here. It's just different here. It's not bad, you know, the styles are just, I would just prefer the US style, but here you also get to do a lot of things by yourself also. So you only get lectures for like 10 weeks, and the remaining weeks it's independent work, 8 weeks sometimes. The remaining week you are doing your independence project, you are doing your work independently. So they both have advantages and disadvantages. But anyways, but if I were to choose the lecturing style, I would definitely go for the United States. Yes, so yeah, I think that's all that I have here. Let me know if you've lived in both countries, what do you think? If you've lived in the UK, what are some of the culture shocks that you experienced here? I would like to hear them in the comment section below. And then if you think anything I said is not accurate, I'd like to hear it politely in the comment section below. Okay, thank you guys so very much for watching. I really truly appreciate you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you leave a comment below, leave a like on this video, and make sure that you share this video. You never can tell whom I need to see or to watch this. And yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. Until we meet again, I still remain Victoria Idele Fash. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.